Good morning to you. Welcome back to Morning in America. 10 minutes to the top of the hour. NASA releasing more images from the James Webb Space Telescope, and they do not disappoint. Scientists and all of us everyday people marveling at this. Wow, the first batch of color, high-resolution images taken by Webb, the largest and most powerful telescope ever launched into space. And it's just amazing. These celestial scenes far beyond our Earth, deep into the universe. Joining me now to talk about what we're seeing and how the photos are actually helping space exploration, former NASA astronaut Jose Hernandez, live from Palm Desert, California. Thank you so much for waking up way early for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrienne. Happy to be here. Very exciting news and very excited about all these developments of the images with the James Webb Telescope.
Well, I mean, we've seen images, when we look at Hubble images, they were remarkable. What is unique about these particular pictures?
What's unique is the fact that that this telescope is much more powerful than the Hubble telescope. So we're able to peer even further into the universe, which means the light that we're seeing of the images of some of the images that were published was light that emanated from the stars 4.7 billion years ago. In other words, we're seeing how the universe was 4.7 billion years ago, and the fact that we're able to see our universe is we're able to see every stage of life of a star. We see stellar nurseries where stars are forming, and we're seeing the death of stars as they're fading into the background. So it's pretty exciting stuff because it allows us to understand fundamentally the creation of our universe and also where we're heading.
Well, I was listening to a member of NASA's team, and he said that these images, some of these images that we're about to see, because we're going to get more pictures, go back all the way to the beginning, over 13 billion years ago. How in the world were they able to do this?
Well, there's a effect called gravitational lensing, where if you get stellar formations that are very dense and massive in front, it actually creates a lens of light that allows the light from the back to come in, and you're able to peer even further down into the universe. So this gravitational lensing effect allows you to peer even further into the universe, which is why they're making the claims that, hey, we're going to be able to see the initial phases of the universe of, for those that believe in the Big Bang Theory, the initial stages of the Big Bang.
And those who believe in creation, the initial stages of creation. But what could we learn? What mysteries could be unlocked from these images from the telescope?
Well, I think the mysteries that can be unlocked is the fact that answer the proverbial question, are we the only ones here in the universe? I believe we are not. I believe there's intelligent life somewhere else in the universe, because there's so many cases where planets are within the habitable zone of their own stars. And so I believe there is intelligent life, maybe more intelligent than us or not so developed as us, but I believe there is. And I think this is gonna help us answer those questions.
This is so big. I think that is something that NASA was talking about, that they were seeing if there were planets that could be lived on, habitable. They didn't talk about aliens, but I'm glad, Jose Hernandez, you're mentioning that you believe that there are some Martians or something. Maybe not Martians, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that we're not the only ones.
All right. Jose, thank you for joining us. Perspective from a real-life astronaut. Thank you again. And wow, those pictures are just, it's larger than life.
I think they call it like the Carnic Cliff or something like that. Sorry if I got that wrong.
The Celestial Cliff?
That one reminds me, I'm coming from the Grand Canyon state. It reminds me of the Grand Canyon, but in space.
Yeah.
I just did jazz hands.
You did jazz hands because you were just so happy and jazzed about these telescope images. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.